Good morning, afternoon, everyone, here in the East Coast, morning on the West Coast. Just letting everybody into the meeting here. Just give me 1 second to pull up my notes. And just so everybody knows, we are recording this so that we put it on our YouTube channel. You can watch the replays from the different weeks that we're doing. We started doing more of an agenda type approach here about 3-4 weeks ago. This would be considered week 4, mastering the discovery call. So we'll talk a little bit about the discovery call, a little bit about what you want to do on your initial contacts. And we're going to call it a discovery call, but it could actually look a couple different ways, and we'll discuss that a little bit as we talk today. I'm not sure if Larry's jumping in this week or not. He was still on vacation this week. We'll run the meeting the best we can. Usually Jeff jumps on these calls too, so we'll see if he jumps on as well. So just a quick audio check. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jared. So let's just review. Let's review the weeks leading up to this, and then we'll just ask for any questions, any feedback that you guys have, or any thing that you need. So this essentially week 1 was building your list. We have some bullet points under there, but the nuts and bolts of everything that you want to do is have a list to go by. And you want to break down this list in your A's, your B's, your C's. Your A's are the people you know very well. B's are people you know a little bit, and C's are people that you don't really know that well at all, but you still want to reach out to them. Say, for instance, you belong to an organization like NADP or USREO Partners, and you have a database of those agents. I'm not advocating that you just reach out to them blindly, but you might want to reach out to some agents that you know in those groups who might know those people and say, hey, would you mind if I reached out to this person, or could you make an introduction? So those are people that you want to have conversations with, but you just don't know them that well. So then week 2 is what we call the 1% approach to productivity. And the reason why we call it the 1% approach is because we don't want you putting a lot of unless you have a focus on attraction, you want to put time into attraction. But for the most part, I would probably have to gather that if you're a real estate agent, you want to be busy selling real estate, because if you have a deal that created a $10,000 commission, that's $8,000 in your pocket after you pay the commission split, and $10,000 if you're capped, as opposed to $350 as revenue share. So really, revenue share comes into play whenever it's a byproduct of what you're doing already. You don't want, unless you want to focus on it, which I focus on. That's my thing. That's what I chose to do. It's taken me about a year to build up to the point where I have a good steady cash flow because of that revenue share. But it took a lot of hard work over a year, and I didn't need to be productive in the other areas. I had set myself up from the past. So that might not be you. If it is you, great, we'll go for it. But if it's not you, then you want to take the 1% approach, meaning every time you close a deal, every time you meet an agent, every time you come into contact person, that person should become a potential agent you want to attract to our phenomenal group and our phenomenal brokerage. So just keep that in mind. Week 3 then was crafting your value proposition, and I hope you guys have had a chance to think about what you offer as value. And it doesn't have to be you personally, but you have to have something in your arsenal to attract people to you. So it could be the group. I mean, we have a great group. We have Larry White as a coach, Jeff Russell as a coach, Joseph Limo, Robert Welcart. We have a lot of different coaches in our group that are there to help you, and they all have specialties. They have specialties in luxury, REO, sphere of influence, reaching out to your sphere, reaching out to your database, social media experts, KV Core experts. I mean, if I haven't mentioned an expert that you're thinking about, let me know and I'll find out who you could be talking to, because we literally have somebody that can help you with whatever you need help with. We have a plethora of people that are at our disposal When I say that, I mean they're within a phone call, text, or email, and they're not going to get back to you in 2 weeks. They're going to get back to you within a few minutes to maybe an hour at best. And if they don't, you reach out to me, and I'll make sure that you're getting the answer within a very timely period of time. Sorry about the double thing there, timely period of time. So anyhow, we're on week 4, discovering or mastering the discovery call. But before I go into that, any questions? Any wins? Anybody have any wins from the past week in some of the people that you might have talked to, or some of the calls that you might have made? Has anybody made any calls? Has anybody created their list at this point in time? Show of hands, or throw a something in the chat, or just let me know.
I've got a win I can
You're
share.
on, somebody's on, wait, I'm not hearing you, Angela. Try now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. It was
Yeah,
my
okay.
end.
Yeah, I've got a win I can share. I had my camera off because I was late having my breakfast. But yeah, I've got 1 new agent onboarded and 2 more signing up today.
Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. And once you start getting some momentum, and more importantly, once you start getting a revenue share check, you're going to want to keep the momentum going, because right now you have the potential to make around $9,000 next year, just with the 3 that you have on board. And you bring another 3 on board, that's $18,000. You don't have to do anything to earn that money. Just make sure that those agents are happy, satisfied, engaging with our group, and most importantly, productive, because revenue share only works when agents are capping out. Now, once they cap, you're not going to earn any additional money on their revenue share, but that's where this is a numbers game. Just like real estate's a numbers game, agent attraction is a numbers game as well. So we want to have a lot of people in our pipeline. What's unique and good about our group is that we're very productive, though. There's a lot of agents in our group that are in the REO space. We're all involved with referrals. I've actually facilitated 2 referrals this morning alone. Just by watching Workplace, seeing what the referrals are coming. I had an agent in West Virginia looking for an agent in New Jersey, and I, married them up and make sure that they were communicating. And I did that for another agent down in Florida. Not where you're at. Not where you're at, Angela. Different part. But yeah, that's what I do. I would look for those opportunities so that not only are my agents there in my portal, I have 52 agents right now in my revenue share organization. I want to make sure that they're capping and that they're productive. And month to date right now, we have had, let me just pull up my number real quick here. Production since last time, I've had 20 closes. So not too bad. We've had more in other months, but we've had 20 closes since June June 15th through July 15th. So I will actually take that. That's actually a pretty good number. And for my organization, just the agents, just in my organization, doesn't include Darren's, I've had 34 million in production. So that's from year to date. So 111 transactions. So I mean, I'm thrilled about that. That's just phenomenal. My revenue share so far this year has been about, I'd say 35,000. So again, I can't live on that. It's not a living wage, but I'm still in the infancy parts of all this. I'm still in the figuring it out and learning stage. So any other questions, any other wins, or anything else before we go on to mastering your discovery call?
2 things, Eric. I have a You List You Last webinar, or excuse me, a live event tomorrow, and I have 36 folks, agents that want to take more listings that have already signed up, and I anticipate a few more. So I'm doing a lot of live events. I'm doing 2 a month. Plus I do weekly webinars on driving agents to these webinars and so as an agent attraction tool. But more importantly, you were talking about REO. There's the EXP's REO training starts again back up this Thursday. And if you want, I can put that in the chat box should anyone want to join the REO certification.
Yeah, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Everybody on this call should have gotten the newsletter, so it should be there also. But for certain, if you don't have that certification, get it. We had one agent in the Nashville, Tennessee area receive over 60 leads this year just from revenues. And they're not in my organization, they're under Jeff's organization. So I don't know exactly much about that agent. I actually had an agent in Nashville who offboarded. You know, she was on with us for like 2 weeks. It's like, oh, I can't figure this stuff out. It's like she would have had so much opportunity. It dumbfounds me. But you know, it's where I'm talking to another agent later today, in the Mobile, not the, you know, where's he at? He's in somewhere else in Tennessee, another Montgomery, was it Montgomery? I forget, but he's in somewhere in Tennessee, so we'll be talking to him later. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anything else that you guys want to talk about before we talk about your discovery call? Anything working for anybody? Anything not working for anybody? Has anybody failed at anything that you've tried? Anybody? Because that's the worst part about doing this is you probably have a finite number of people you're going to reach out to, and you don't want to be like screwing up, you know, on the first few calls. You want to be successful out of the gate. But then again, you don't really get good at this until you start practicing a little bit and you start making a few goofs and a few mistakes. So anything that you guys did that maybe could have gone better? All good?
I've had people not respond, but that's okay.
Not respond in what way?
Well, just if I reach out to them, you know, I think they get the impression that they're trying to be recruited, but you know, at the same time, I also know that just because it's not the right time right now doesn't mean that it's not going to be the right time in the future too. So
what did you call them and they didn't take your call, or did they?
Yeah, just send some messages. You know, what we might have been chatting by text or email.
Okay.
These aren't agents that I was really close to or anything like that. They were just ones that I saw potential to, you know, increase what they've been, you know, their production. They were agents that I know have potential. They've been around a long time, but their production's really low. And I just thought that maybe I could offer them an opportunity to increase their production. But, you know, if it's not the right time for them, it's not the right time, and that's okay.
Are they REO agents?
The couple that I haven't got responses from were not, but I have a few REO agents that I'm gonna get them. It's just a matter of time. I know these people. So I have a list of ones that I'm gonna work on that I know I'll get them. I'm just not pushing.
Okay. Well, this dovetails perfectly into what we want to talk about today. So we'll go into that in just a second. And any other comments, anything else that you guys wanted to either pick my brain about, or just, you know, see if there's a different way different approach you could go by. And by no means am I an expert. I don't put myself out there as one. I just have been doing this for about 18 months now, and I've gotten decently good at it. So it's by no means am I the end all. I mean, if I had a guy like Russ Lago on this call, that's a different story. Russ is a guy who I aspire to. Many of you might have heard Russ speak in the past. If you haven't, there's a mastermind that Larry did about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. It's on our YouTube channel. Check it out, because Russ he's the expert. He is. So anything else that you guys want to talk about before I go into week 4 to mastering this discovery call? All right. So what do you guys feel is a discovery call? What do you want to do on this particular call? This is you have your list, you know your value proposition, you know what you're gonna, you know, what value you're gonna translate to the person you're gonna talk to. How do you think the call should start? Sean, have you done any of these calls yet? Have you made any calls to anybody?
No, I'm still at infancy on that one.
Still, you're way beyond that, but okay. What do you guys think though? Like when you pick up the phone, or you send an email, or you send a text, I mean, what do you want to say? What's the first thing you want to say? I mean, hey, this is Eric from EXP. You guys want to have a call today, or should it be something different than that? I want to get you guys thinking a little bit. What do you think, Angela? What's been successful for you? You've attracted 3 people. And I know one was through the NSA program, and one was your son. But what do you think?
Well, the other gentleman is actually a builder, and he came to my house to give me a bid on some part of the structure. The wood is starting to rot under there. And I just was mentioning his son is actually a contractor, has been doing some repair work on some of the listings I've been working with. And so he was, you know, saying how he was interested, he was kind of picking my brain on how I got into that niche of the REO space and the things, you know, that we've been doing with Home Partners of America.
Mhm.
And so I started talking to him and I said, yeah, I'd really love to have, you know, someone new on my team who can go assess repairs for me, you know, at those times when I'm, you know, out of state or whatever, you know, take some photos for me, inspection photos, who actually knows what they're doing as far as construction. And he's like, wow, he goes, that sounds pretty great. And he was telling me he had a back injury, and I listened to his story, and then he tells me that he's a licensed real estate agent and he's looking to he's looking to do more with that.
Mhm.
And that, you know, he said, you know, I think maybe I might be interested in joining your team. So I just took that and ran with it. And I says, wow, you'd be like the perfect match because you know so much about construction. And I just kind of, he's like, sign me up. But and when he said sign me up, I just kind of, you know, said, okay, well, you know, I'll get you some information. And I just backed off for a couple of days because I wanted to make sure he was serious. You know, I didn't want him to feel like I was headhunting him, right? So after a couple of days, I said, hey, are you still interested in this?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. He goes, I just would like to learn more about the commission structure. So I set up that meeting with you on Google Meet. And, you know, we both answered his questions, what he needed to know. And he owns a wedding venue too. So he was busy over the weekend. So he's actually filling out the form now. He was texting me a few minutes ago.
Right.
So, I mean, that's
So,
pretty much.
so
how I did it.
essentially what I'm hearing is that somebody had a need, had a problem, you had the solution, and you helped create a fix for that solution, a fix for that problem.
Actually, it was
So,
mutual. I had a need. I need a repair in my house. You know, I need someone to be a team member when I'm gone. And so we actually were, and he says that he's terrible at paperwork. And I said, hey, you know what, I can help you out with that. So we were helping each other. So it was a mutual need and a mutual solution.
right. Yeah, and that's gonna be probably 90% of the time that we're making these what do you call it? Creating these relationships is because there's some affinity between you and that other person. There's some wanting to work together in some capacity. There's some value that you can offer. Maybe they can offer you value. Maybe you're looking for somebody. Maybe you want to get into a particular niche, but you don't know how, but you would need to partner with somebody. So this is why the discovery call is not a sale. It's not the close. You're not going to try to close anybody on your first call. It's only happened to me one time where I'm talking to an agent and he's like, hey, Eric, you know, I've been looking at EXP. I was almost ready to sign the dotted line. I can't believe you called me today. It's happened one time. And the agent's a great agent. He's in Arizona. His name's Brian Flatley. He's been on a lot of our calls in the past. He caps probably in about 4 weeks every year. You know, he's been with us 2 years now. So he's capped twice under me. And he was like 2 deals away from Icon last year. So it's not going to happen a lot. But what you want to do in a discovery call is to re-engage with the person that you know. It's a relation. It's just basically relationship building 101. If I was running a dating website, I'd probably be telling you guys the same thing. You know, you don't go on a date and propose marriage, you know, at the end of the day. Hey, that was a great lunch. You guys, you want to get married? You know, it's like, no, you want to do you want to have another date? Do you want to do something different? Do you want to go to an event? Do you want to go to the movies? You want to go to dinner? Well, the agents are the same thing. It's like, do you want to have could you like to come to a mastermind? Would you like to go to an event? Could I work an open house for you? Could you work an open house for me? If you're in different cities and you have to be a little bit more creative. With Robert, he's doing these twice a month events, these Zoom events. Perfect. Exactly the way that Brent Cardone developed his organization. He and Gene Frederick did it the same way. They did a lot of one-on-ones with agents, a lot of Zooms, a lot of engagement. But the point was they were constantly engaging with those agents. And it wasn't every day. It wasn't even every week. It was maybe once a month, once a quarter, once every couple months. Everybody matriculates at a different level. Everybody sees the value at a different period of time. Some people are so engrossed with their brokerages, whether the broker owner or they've been with the company. I can't tell you how many times I talk to an agent. This kind of blows me away that they've been with the same brokerage for 25 years. I mean, I must hear that at least once a week, and I talk to maybe 15 agents a week. That just I can't believe that they've been that loyal to a brokerage for that long. I think it's great, but I've only been a real estate agent for 8 years, and I've been with 4 different brokerages. So, and I know agents that have changed that many times in 1 year just because they couldn't find the right fit. So we do have a lot of awesomeness with our group. So that initial call that you make, or text message, or email that you send to them, I recommend you don't just call once and don't call again. If you call 3 times, maybe text 3 times, and then still they're ghosting you, still they don't want to talk to you, then maybe let it go for a little while. But make a couple different reach outs. And the reach outs that I recommend you do is along the lines of, if you know them well, they're on your A list. It's like, hey, Jim, I haven't talked to you for, couple months, couple years. Yeah, I just want to see how things are going, maybe pick your brain a little bit, see, what's working for you in the industry. I'm doing all right, but, I'd like to try to get to the next level. So if you have some time, could we, have some time to have a call? Now, that could be a call or a text message. The call, all that you want to do on the call when you reach out to them is set up an appointment. When you get somebody and they're in the middle of something, they don't want to necessarily have a 15-minute call. And I always suggest or recommend that you ask the person when you're calling them, hey, do you have a couple seconds I could talk? And that's all you're going to give them. And if they say, yeah, I'm fine. I just want to find out, could we have a call? I just haven't talked to you for a long time. I just want to see if maybe we can reconnect a little bit. Some things I wanted to ask you a few questions about, when would be a good time? And then just get them on your calendar. If by chance they say, hey, I'm not doing anything right now, I just want to have a call now, and you do have the time, then talk to them then. But if you don't have the time, say, hey, look, I really don't have the time because I had like a few seconds. I saw your name. I just want to give you a quick call. Would it be okay if we set up a time? So the discovery call, and that's all we're really going to talk about today, because, that's probably the hardest thing for people to do, is to pick up that phone initially, because I think a lot of people are under the impression that they're going to have a kill shot in that first call. It's like, hey, Jim, oh yeah, let me get onboarding on it right now. Ain't gonna happen. It could, but chances are it's not. And chances are, if it did, that person might be a fly-by-night person anyhow. And you want to get to know them. You want to get to know a little bit more about who they are, what makes them tick. And that's for your next call, which is your call that you're going to have with them. That's going to be anywhere from 15 minutes. Most of my calls, when I'm talking to agents, typically go 20 to 25 minutes. And it really depends. And sometimes I know how much time I want to spend with somebody because I know a little bit about their history. Maybe I've had a call with them in the past. But if I have a new agent on the call and they're really interesting to talk to, and I'm really getting a lot out of the conversation, I ask all kinds of things like family. And these are people I don't know. All the people on my list are C's. They're just people through American Destiny who I have a list. We have the mutual thing that we have together is that they're part of American Destiny loosely. They really haven't done any business with us for a while, but they'd like to. So that's my value proposition, is I'm going to help get them set up with our organization. And it's not a lie. I mean, we will get them set up with our organization. I would love to have them part as a preferred partner in our organization. That's the ultimate goal for me, but they can still get business. It's just if they're preferred, they're going to get more business. So, to wrap things up today, because I have a call at 1, but just to recap, the discovery call is basically 2 to 3 minutes. How's it going? Would like to have a chance to talk to you a little bit more, pick your brain, whatever you decide is going to be the the theme of your call to get engaged with them. But the purpose of that call is to get another substantive call on the schedule. And if by chance they can have a 15-minute call at that time, and you have the time, you could do that. I don't necessarily recommend it one way or the other. I would probably say stick to the script, meaning set up the call. Let's, talk to them more productively. And then that's when you will go into your value proposition, what your group has to offer. If it's REO work, beautiful, set them up with me, set them up with Larry. We can talk a little bit more about getting them set up to do more along the lines of opportunities in this distressed space, because we have so much we could talk. We can talk about revenue, so we can talk about American Destiny, the MCM Capital, Temple View Capital, and mentoring. If you guys know anybody that think they want to do REO, but they're like, well, I don't even know who to call or who to talk to, you can be their mentor. You can mentor them through it. We do this with agents all the time. We need agents that can do the job without any issue, but it's the cart and horse thing. You got it. I mean, it's the chicken and egg. What comes first? The experience or the work. In REO, you can't really F up too much. You have to pretty much go in it with a mindset of perfection all the time. So that's where mentorships really come in play. So again, week 4, Mastery Discovery Call. I encourage you to watch weeks 1 through 3 if you have any more questions. Each of the weeks usually go about 30 minutes. We haven't gone over too much at the time. I need to set my schedule so that these calls can be a little bit longer than 30 minutes. But since Jeff asked me to move them to 12:30, I haven't had time to set that schedule. But I hope to do that in the near future. If you have questions or you want to have a one-on-one call with me, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm going to throw my calendar in the chat. I think most people probably have it, but if you don't, just use this calendar link to set up a call with me, and we could do like some one-on-one time. Because sometimes I know you guys, I can't imagine a real estate agent being a shy person, but it seems like you guys are a little bit shy to want to ask questions. But sometimes you don't know what to ask, or maybe it's just better to be doing it on a one-on-one. So if you want, put some time on my calendar. We can talk a little bit more. In the 3 minutes that we have left, any questions from anybody?
Yes, Eric, it's Sean. Pretty quick to have a 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I have known a few timeshare agent. Are they some good prospect to follow up with them? I know 2 timeshare, sales manager. So they have a bunch of guys underneath them. Is it something that we should explore about, some angle that, they have people coming out from different place, different location, the country, and blah, 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 those kind of things.
I think so.
Okay.
Why don't you put time on my calendar, and I'll pull Robin in on that call, because that's a little bit more of a specialized thing. So we want to make sure that when we're talking to these agents, like they might have to be, there might be some restrictions with EXP to doing that kind of, I don't know. But Robin will know. She's our network integration specialist. I think you've been on calls with Robin before. So,
Okay.
yeah, and that's a good
that'd
question.
be good, because they don't want to give up their day job, but if there's opportunity for them to on the side to build up the book of business as a regular agent, I think that's
either as a regular agent or even just as a referral agent. In EXP, there's 3 different brokerages you can be in. You can be in the traditional brokerage, which most of us are. There's a referral only brokerage, which right now I have 2 agents in the referral brokerage, meaning they don't have to have an MLS. They only pay $50 a month for their EXP tools. And then there's the commercial brokerage you can be in. And what I found out from Jeff earlier today is that in the commercial brokerage, you don't need to be part of an association or part of an MLS. So, but the fees are a little bit higher in the commercial brokerage, and they're called advisors, not agents. So, but yeah, again, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to have to bolt to get on this call. But if you guys have any questions, put time on my calendar. If you don't have any questions now, we're going to meet again next Tuesday. Larry should be on that call next week, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. Let's grow together, and you guys have a good rest of the week.
Hey, thanks, Eric.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.